Big brother, what happened to Shaoli afterwards? Afterwards? There's no afterwards. Why? Still asking why. Do you enjoy seeing me get beaten up? The kids started laughing. Can I consider it mockery? Then they began to compete to play games with me. What a sin. These kids dragged me around to try out all the games they could think of. It turns out you really don't know how to play anything. I didn't lie to you, did I? Didn't you have a childhood? I never played these things. So what did you do when you were a kid? Just doodled aimlessly. What do you call it? Graffiti, right? Didn't you play with other kids? A bunch of them beating me up. Does that count as playing together? Hearing this, she pulled me out again. You actually really hate kids, don't you? Anyway, I don't like them. No need to pretend anymore. When they bullied you as a kid, didn't the adults do anything? Who would care? Teachers didn't, and their parents cared even less. What about your family? Them? They probably wished I died sooner. That's so cruel, man. When the adults around you are just so unempathetic, it's heartbreaking. Just really heartbreaking. She showed a complex expression. My dad died when I was very young. I have no memories of him at all. I took my mom's surname. As far as I can remember, my mom remarried, and my stepfather, that scumbag, would find all sorts of reasons to beat me. If I dropped a grain of rice while eating, I'd get beaten. If I didn't eat Sichuan peppercorns or star anise, I'd get beaten. If I didn't eat fish scales or eggshells, I'd get beaten, under the guise of supplementing calcium. If I refused, I was being ungrateful. Even if I vomited on the floor because I was sick, they'd say I was wasting food, that I dirtied the floor and beat me for it. There were countless such incidents. I remember once being beaten until my mouth was full of blood, and my mom just stood by and watched, without saying a word. I was only 5 or 6 years old then. I'm very clear that he beat me not because of what I did, but because whatever I did could become a reason for him to beat me. It's easy to find fault when you want to. After starting elementary school, I got beat up by classmates at school, and then by that scumbag at home with nowhere to sleep, with nowhere to escape. Bullying has no cost, so it only gets worse. Starting from junior high, I lived in a dormitory with barely enough living expenses for one meal a day, and that had to include money for buying pens, notebooks, and exercise books. Back then, I only went back to that place that wasn't really home during the summer and winter vacations, and even then, it was just fighting every day. Later, when that scumbag couldn't beat me anymore, I wasn't afraid of him either. Since high school, I haven't been back home. They cut off my living expenses, and I had to earn my own money by working during holidays. That's my childhood. I'm done talking about it. Speaking of which, I'm not interested in the orphans, nor am I interested in her life up to now. What interests me is her positive and optimistic attitude towards her tragic fate, and her attitude towards children. What would it have been like if someone had stood up to protect me when I was a kid? She hesitated. What did she want to say? Just say it if you want to. Why beat around the bush? Do you still keep in touch with them? I haven't initiated contact, but my mom will contact me 2 or 3 times a year. What do they say? Some trivial things, probably just to confirm whether I'm alive or dead. Can you give me their contact information, if you don't mind? I have nothing to mind, I just think it's unnecessary. What can you do even if you contact them? Scold them? If I didn't say anything back then, it's even more meaningless now. I have nothing to say to them. Tell me. Looking at her determined eyes. Alright, I'll send it to your phone later. Send it now. Fine, sending it now. The number was sent over. Do you want to confirm its authenticity? She gave me a glare. No need. If you didn't want to tell me, you could have just not sent it. There's no need to give me a fake one. Smart of you. I'm leaving first. There's no longer any need to stay here. I didn't bring any painkillers with me, and it would be bad if I had another attack. Besides, she's here, so if there really is any situation, she probably doesn't need me, right? Going home? Yes. You go in and say goodbye to the kids, okay? I wanted to refuse, but then I thought better of it and nodded, following her inside. Big Brother's leaving. Let's send him off together. Will Big Brother come to see us again? Big Brother, he... Yes. I interrupted her. She smiled slightly and said nothing. After going home and taking some painkillers, I lay in bed, not knowing what to do. I wasn't having a headache, but I was still shaken up by last night's episode, afraid that next time I might not even have the strength to get up. Due to working overtime all year round, I don't spend much time at home, and when I am at home, I mostly just sleep. I work more on holidays than I rest, and even when I don't work overtime, I sleep until noon, get up to eat something, and then lie down to scroll through my phone. Now that my phone is broken like this, I've lost interest in playing with it. But what else can I do? The phone rang. Who would call me? It was a kid from the company who had been there for not long, whom I had been mentoring since he joined. This call was probably made by the leader, and he might even be listening in on speakerphone. Xiaozhou. Hello, master. Why haven't you come to work these past few days? Nothing much. I'm sick. What illness? Brain cancer. Ah, master. That. He was already at a loss for words. If there's nothing else, I'll hang up. I hung up the phone. A few minutes later. Master, the call just now was made by the leader. I heard him on the other side of the phone, not sure who he was calling, asking if it's okay to fire an employee with cancer. Just as expected. It doesn't matter whether he fires me or not. I won't be coming back. There are plenty of shady practices in this company. Forced overtime, zero overtime pay, tax evasion, various unjustified wage deductions, etc. Unfortunately, with the economic downturn, everyone is on edge, and no one wants to lose their job, so we all turn a blind eye. It's just a pity that the arbitration process is too long, so long that I won't live to see the day of the arbitration result. Otherwise, I really would like to vent this frustration. Master, the leader asked if you'd come over to hand over your work and take care of the resignation. Is that necessary? They said it's because we've worked together, to go through the proper procedures, to part on good terms. What does that mean? Well, alright, I'll go over now. At the company, I signed a bunch of papers, but the leader didn't show. Good. I didn't want to see him anyway. If he dared to appear, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to stop myself from sending him away before I die. After finishing the resignation, only Xiaozhou came to see me off. Apart from a few colleagues who helped me with the resignation procedures, not one of them looked out from start to finish. Is this what they call work together? Parting on good terms? It's really funny. Master. Alright, don't see me off anymore. Go back to work, or they'll be picking on you again. I'm not afraid. At worst, they can fire me too. It's really great to be young. Thinking about it, I'm not much older than him, yet one is full of vitality while the other is terminally ill. In the distance stood a person. Her. My longtime secret crush, the unattainable. She also worked in this company. After seeing Xiaozhou go back, she slowly walked over. To be honest, I didn't want to see her. My gaze wandered. I didn't run away. Perhaps out of politeness, I can't really say. Since it is so, let's make a conclusion here. I didn't know you. You just expressed your true thoughts. You're right, I am sick, and if it weren't for realizing that I'm about to die, I might never have had the courage to make that call to you. And I would never have known that you actually hate me so much. I know you've always been very kind to me. I'm aware that I don't have much time left. I didn't expect any response from you anyway. Is there anything I can do? Forget that. I'm sorry for disturbing you. Go back. Then, thank you. Goodbye. Don't worry. We won't meet again. I deleted all her contact information. Seemingly resolute and carefree, but only I know the price I paid behind the scenes. After that, I didn't go home, standing alone on the pedestrian overpass, forgetting myself, forgetting time, forgetting everything.